What is up, everybody? We are here in Denver, Colorado for the inaugural Undermine HeatPunk Summit. I'm here with Ryan Ramager, the CEO and founder of CryoByte Labs. Ryan, can you tell me what CryoByte Labs does real fast?
We specialize in direct-to-chip liquid cooling for proof-of-work mining. So whether you're a manufacturer, a builder, a tinkerer, we want to provide those tools that allow you to keep your ASIC running nice and cool, but also to capture that heat in water for other heat reuse purposes.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to start diving into some of these projects myself. Could you tell me, so we're here, second day of the Undermine event. What are you most excited about for today's events?
For today's events, I love the ethos of everything going on. Seeing everybody come out here, we got a whole room full of miners that people are tinkering on. So learning all about them, meeting with all the people again, seeing all the cool heat reuse for the second day in a row is what I'm excited about.
Definitely. One last question, why Bitcoin?
Bitcoin to me changes the world. It makes humanity better. It allows you to pursue your desires and your will without having an intermediary dictate that. So to me, if we can fix the money, we fix the world. So it starts in the mines. It starts with the plebs. If we can raise that home miner up, that's really going to change the world. And I think for Bitcoin as a whole, it starts right here, but we got to bring it to the world.
So for people who are uninitiated to Bitcoin, what are some things that they need to know?
So the first thing is you need to get started. So many people don't want to dive into what Bitcoin means because it's complicated, but the first step is really just watching a YouTube video, just getting started, getting your hands on something that you can start that journey, because that's the biggest barrier. As soon as you get started, you start learning more and more about Bitcoin. You fall in love with the idea because you see how it can change the world. So there's not one specific thing that I think you should know, but get off start and get started learning about it.
Get off zero. It's an addictive process, but it's fun. We enjoy ourselves. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate everything that you're doing in the space.
Of course, you as well.
We're here with Christopher. Christopher, can you tell us what you're doing in the space?
Yeah, well, my name's Christopher Kroll. I'm head of business for North America for a company called Canaan. We build the Avalon Bitcoin miner. We're publicly traded on the New York NASDAQ. We also invented the Bitcoin ASIC miner in 2013. We're providing self-mining hash rate to North America. We're supporting clients over here to, mine more Bitcoin, right? So we have great press releases with CleanSpark, Cypher Mining, Hive, Stronghold Digital, and many more clients. So we're doing our best just to support Bitcoin mining in North America.
This is something that I find is very important, in the interviews that I've done in the past. Getting the large industrial manufacturers on the side of heat reuse is something that I'm really excited about. So I really appreciate that you're here. Could you tell us, what are you most excited about for today's events?
I want to learn about how we can reuse heat from Bitcoin mining. So with an ASIC chip, whenever it's running in the Bitcoin miner, it does one thing and it does it really well. It just sorts the Bitcoin algorithm over and over and over and over. It gets really hot when it's doing that. So we have ways of getting the heat out, right? Through the heat sink panel on the board. We take the heat out through air, maybe through heated water, maybe we heat up oil and immersion. But what do we do with that heat? So I want to see the new ideas on how we can reuse that heat. Canaan ourselves, we have a product where we're using that heat to warm up houses as well. It's a new product. So I just want to see what everyone's doing and how we can support it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a great opportunity. I love that you guys are here. One final question. Why Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin important to the uninitiated person?
5,000 years ago, we had gold. We had something that you couldn't copy, you couldn't repeat, you knew what it was, you could tell what it was, and we used it as a currency to trade internationally, across borders, to fund new inventions. Bitcoin is the next step in that evolution of humanity. We can use Bitcoin to trade internationally more conveniently, save our value, and we can bring humanity to a new step. I don't know, where are we going, to Mars? So we're gonna use this new hard digital asset to change the future.
Absolutely. We are changing the world one heat punk at a time. Christopher, I appreciate you so much today, man. Thank you for your time.
You got it. Thank you very much.
What is up, everybody? We're wrapping up for the day, but I'm here with my close personal friend, Antoine. Antoine, you've helped me with my personal heat system, but real quick for the audience, tell us what you do.
So the main thing I do is I try to, I focus on residential. I modify Bitcoin miners to heat homes. I leverage the existing HVAC infrastructure to distribute the heat. It's the most cost-effective way I find to leverage Bitcoin mining for heating.
So what has been the reaction from your clients?
Typically, the reaction's extremely positive. In many cases, probably about 20 to 30% of my clients have come back for additional units. Once the proof of concept is there and they understand the capital appreciation, they understand basically the free heat. In most jurisdictions with a 4 or 5 year old miner, you can break even on your heating expense. So this is hugely valuable. It changes your mindset about you know, leaving the doors open. If you have kids that, you know, young kids that leave the doors open, you don't worry about the heat leaving the house. In fact, your miner will automatically adjust to that new cold temperature. You'll produce more sats. You'll be better off for it. So
absolutely,
yeah.
I've been very happy with my system.
Thanks,
what I
man.
love about how you helped me design mine is you made it wife approved. My wife loves her heater. She talks about it all the time, and that is something that a lot of people here in this building, in this room today, they're fighting, is that wife acceptance factor. So I think what you're doing personally in the space is helping people build out hash rate heating systems, but do it in a way that integrates seamlessly into their home, so their wives never have to see it, they never have to hear it, they just have to deal with the heat, which is always a nice thing. What has been your impression from this event?
It's the overarching feeling is that these people are all builders. They're here to solve problems, and it's so cool to see people that are so beyond that number go up. These are all, in my opinion, geniuses. Almost everyone has something unique and special to contribute to Bitcoin, and it feels like everyone's kind of at the top of their class, top of their game. You know, the community is extremely supportive, and you know, just happy to be here. And it's a dream come true, being face to face with people that I, you know, watched hundreds of hours of YouTube on. Yeah, I love it, man.
It's like standing in a room with your heroes.
Absolutely, I just described it that way today in a text message. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
To the uninitiated, to the pre-coiner, why is Bitcoin important? Why does it matter?
I think. You've asked me this question a couple of times in a couple different interviews, and I've always been like, oh, I should have said this. I think my official answer to this question is Bitcoin is time. For me, it was time. For people who I know, it's a way to, if you need to change directions in your life, it'll give you that time. You don't have to, it's not like you're being chased constantly. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Bitcoin is an amazing gift to humanity because it gives you the time to figure out how to deliver the most benefit to the most amount of people. That's what always yields the best returns, whether it's a financial or a, you know, altruistic endeavor, whatever it is. That's what, since I started Bitcoining, it's really changed how I think about how I want to, you know, deliver my expertise and how I want to help the public and how I want to conduct my life. So Bitcoin for me is time.
That's a beautiful answer.
Thanks, man.
Well, Antoine, I really appreciate everything that you've done in the space, everything you've done for me, and thank you for your time today, brother.
Thank you, and here's a little gift for you.
Oh man, you shouldn't have.
Free advertising.
I'm here with Kevin. What are you doing in the space?
So I just recently started with Canaan. So we created the first Bitcoin ASIC miner back in 2013, and I'm here with Christopher Crowell to promote it and kind of learn about kind of what, you know, mining is and heating is kind of bringing together. And I also was in the real estate industry previously to Bitcoining, so to kind of see how you can bring Bitcoin mining and heating to the real estate space and possibly help, you know, landlords is a great thing.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Are you doing any mining yourself?
No, not yet.
We need to change that.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe this is kind of the conference that spurs it.
If we're going to raise global adoption, raise awareness around Bitcoin, how do we get the uninitiated who've never heard about Bitcoin and don't understand what it is? How do we get them on board to Bitcoin?
You know, I think these conferences, but also the heating aspect is huge. At Canaan, we introduced the home miner, and a lot of people like myself a couple years ago, when you kind of just knew Bitcoin through, you know, the normal routes of hearing it, you never really put anything in your hands that can like, okay, this is kind of what Bitcoin does. These home miners and the facts that you can use Bitcoin mining to heat a home, it's now kind of giving people a different way to look at things, and it's also making it seem more real. So I think that's huge in the adoption of Bitcoin. And, you know, getting Bitcoin to the next steps to kind of, you know, have it in every single household.
Absolutely. Everybody talks about magic internet money that is just off in the ether.
Right.
But if we can bring it to a physical thing, a physical device, and put that in someone's hand and say, hey, this is a Bitcoin miner, it's creating magic internet money, but it's also heating your home. I feel like that's a really good way to onboard people into the space. Well, Kevin, I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your event.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
What is up, everybody? We are here in the hot tubs at the Space in Denver, Colorado for the inaugural Undermine HeatPunk Summit. I'm here with Tyler, the organizer of the Space, and Dane. Ignore Dane, he's just chilling. Tyler, how are you doing today, man?
I'm real toasty right now.
It's beautiful.
Amazing event.
It's been amazing. What is your impression so far?
Honestly, great feedback. Everybody was thrilled to get together, so this needed to happen probably for the past 18 months or so. People have been building their own systems, trying to figure these things out, and so I'm just glad we were able to all get in a room and really outline the problems. There was a lot of learning to people that hadn't thought this stuff through or just getting into it, and the suppliers too, the people that make chips, all the way to the plumbers and stuff like this. It is kind of crazy the situation we're in for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think we definitely solved that check mark, which is get everyone on the same page, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, you know, one thing that I think is happening is that there's not a lot of understanding of how Bitcoin works, but then when you get a bunch of people who are interested in heat reuse in the same room, not only can we talk about Bitcoin, but we can explain why, and we can give this perfect use case of like, here's a machine, here's what it does, and here's what it's creating. And it's not just creating Bitcoin, it's creating heat. Can you tell me why that heat is important?
I think the heat is important because we started with Bitcoin mining on laptops when it wasn't that competitive, and that's all you needed. But now it's literally converged on these high power dense electrical devices where year over year they're consistently 3,000 watts, 3,000 watts, 3,500 watts, 3,500 watts. Oh, we hit 4,000 watts. So it's like year over year over year, they're just consistently heating systems, electric resistive heating systems. I don't think that's going to change. They kind of hit this bottleneck from a thermal perspective. They can't squeeze out any more power because they'll literally cook themselves. And so the best place to integrate machines that just pump out 4,000 watts in these little shoeboxes, it isn't a heating systems. That's what they are fundamentally now. They didn't used to be that way when they were computers.
Absolutely, and we're seeing a lot of this design style change because of the need for heat. You've got a room back here. Obviously, we're in a hot tub right now, but we've got a room back there full of different types of designs and form factors, and I think that's really cool as well. So I know it's like picking your favorite child when you're a parent, but what was your favorite thing this weekend?
I really enjoyed the technical panels that I'm not the most well-spoken on. These were like the chapters of my book that were hardest for me to write, the firmware and control, stuff like that, because we did have experts in the room. We had Brett Rowan, we had the devs from Luxor and Brains, and we had, you know, Michael Schmidt and Bob from the Home Bitcoin Immersion Mining YouTube channel and things like that to really have this back and forth, where I think we made good progress. And even the delivery system too, air versus immersion versus hydro. I think most people don't think about the differences between these things. Biggest thing for me was just getting everyone up to speed, from the people who are turning wrenches to the people who are designing $100 million ASIC chips. Like, we're all on the same page right now as it relates to this emerging sub-industry, which is crucial.
To the uninitiated, to somebody who doesn't understand Bitcoin, doesn't understand what we're all doing here, help us understand why Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the first way to monetize heat without counterparty risk, which sounds like jumbled words, I guess, to some, but you can turn electricity into money and heat, so you're getting heat plus money without a central authority. It's native to the internet, it's native to computers. You don't have to rely on some company or institution or person or issuer of a token to reap the reward of that. We've simply kind of cracked this code where if you send electrons through a circuit board, you would get heat through a resistive, like wire, copper trace. But now, if you send electrons through this really specific path, and they go this way, then that way, then this way, that way, and they talk to other miners doing the same thing, you get paid for it. The physics are the same, but we found a way to do this, and so that's why Bitcoin is the only way to go about with hash rate heating.
I love it, man. The hash rate heating industry is about to explode, and we're all at the precipice of it, and it's really exciting. I can't wait for next year.
It's going to be fun to laugh about this event in 20 years, Trevor.
Yeah, we got so much good content too, so it's going to be great, you know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna hang out in this hot tub and just chill. Maybe smoke some joints, drink some Bitcoin beer. It's going to be a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Cheers.
Please note, the Build a Mind podcast provides information for general educational purposes only. This information should not be construed as legal, financial, or investment advice. We do not guarantee the accuracy or completeness of any information presented, and we encourage you to consult with a professional advisor, legal advisor, and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The Build a Mind podcast and its affiliates are not responsible for any losses incurred as a result of using the information provided.